Hey, shalom, Sister Kate here. Welcome back to Sister Kate Shofar Mountain, and I have a very special guest this morning. This is my mom.
Hi.
Hi. Her name is Janet Shuddy, and she's 82 years old. And just like my husband, when he talked to his father, she's had many international experiences and also disaster-related, emergency preparedness-related experiences. So I thought I would do a little interview with her this morning so you all can get some of the benefit of her experiences and her wisdom on these particular topics. So let's just get right into it. Mom,
Yes.
do you remember how many different weather-related emergencies you've been in? Like, when do you think was the first one?
I think the first one was when we were in the Philippines
Right?
and there was a typhoon,
Right.
which is like a more important hurricane because a typhoon can get up to 150 to 200 mile an hour winds.
And how many days did that typhoon last?
It usually comes and goes in one day,
Right.
but the disaster itself leaves.
Something we were without
Yeah,
power. And
it leaves you without power. It leaves you with water coming through your ceilings inside your house.
yeah, and some of the things that happened during that typhoon, I remember this as a kid, was the roof blew off a lot of houses
Yeah.
and the streets were flooded. And so how did we have clean drinking water? Were we boiling water?
Well, I would certainly try to boil the water. Yes, I would not drink it
Because I don't
out
remember.
of the tap.
Yeah, I don't remember if we had boiled or bottled water in those days. I think we probably boiled it.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was a big in both of our lives. I still remember that because I took a bath in a big plastic tub and I thought that was really neat. And what about, do I remember correctly, Dad like sitting up at night because he thought people might try to loot in the aftermath?
Your dad had to go to work,
Okay.
and part of their job was to make sure that all their employees and their families were as safe as they could be. So
Okay.
they would probably concentrate on people who were in a dangerous area, like along the side of the sea where people had apartments. So they would be in greater danger because of the typhoon winds.
Right. Okay, well, let's move on to the next one. You had a fire incident here right after you moved here, right?
Yes, yes. It was a year when drought conditions were prevalent.
Mm-hmm.
And there were fires inland
Mm-hmm.
that were coming towards this coast
Mm-hmm.
in 3 different directions.
Wow.
They were coming west from Central Florida, south from North Florida, and north from South Florida. So we were in a really bad position. We had already started the wet season but had no rain. It was the 4th of July weekend, and we were notified to evacuate the whole county so that the fire department and helicopters could get through the streets and put out any fires that were looming. There was ash falling from the skies.
Wow. And did they specifically tell you to do anything to like protect your house, or had you already done like cleaned up dried leaves or anything like that?
Yes, they recommended that there be no fuel within 30 feet of your house on all sides.
Mm-hmm.
And they also recommended that you wet your roofs.
Okay. And a lot of the houses around here have pools, so even, people could have used their pool and buckets and things and splash water around. So you got evacuated. Your whole county got evacuated. Do you
Correct.
remember the plan? Did they have a plan in place for like getting the cars out in an efficient manner?
No.
No. Okay. So was
What-
there a backup? Like, was 95 totally backed up or anything?
What happened was the people who were evacuating, for the most part, were doing it in a northerly direction. And what that did was it made it so much harder because there were really only 2 highways
Mm-hmm.
that were accessed. And in order to get from Palm Coast, where we lived, to St. Augustine, which was approximately 20 to 25 miles away, it took people 5 hours.
5 hours to go 20 to 25 miles. So you have to think about these things if you live in an area that may have an emergency. And this was a natural disaster. This was just fires that started in a very droughty conditions. But you have to have some kind of plan, because if you get evacuated, did you want to evacuate, Mom?
No,
Of course not. Of course you don't want to, but sometimes conditions work against you and you have to. So how did you end up evacuating? Because this was a pretty interesting coincidence too.
what happened was I had a phone call from neighbors who had gone to France, and somehow they got the information that we were in fire danger and had to evacuate. And they called me and they said, take our mobile home and use that to evacuate.
And that was kind of a blessing, right? Because if you're
Yeah.
evacuating, now I'm not saying everyone should have a mobile home, because sometimes the roads are so bad you won't be able to get out that way. But for an older woman, and they all had pets. She had some pets and the people with the RV had some pets. this ended up being a really good thing for her. So you put the pets in the RV, and then which direction did you go in to get out of here?
Okay. Neighbors are wonderful. I called my neighbor Will Jones, and I asked him if he could back that mobile home out of its garage because I didn't feel comfortable doing that.
Right.
So he said yes, he'd be happy to. And he did. He backed it out of the garage, and my other neighbor, Doris Edmonds, was also evacuating, and she had a destination.
Okay.
So the two of us decided we would go together. She would drive her car in front, and I would drive the mobile home behind her.
Mm-hmm.
Our direction took us south
Mm-hmm.
to I-4, International Drive 4,
Okay.
which took us in the direction of Orlando.
Okay, and
But-
Orlando is west of here, correct?
Correct.
And you said the fires were coming from the south, the north, and the west.
Yes.
But heading towards Orlando, did you see the fires, or was the route pretty clear?
First thing I did when I got on US 1 going south,
Mm-hmm.
stopped at a gas station
Filled up.
and put $65 worth of gas in that mobile home. I had no idea how much it had in it, but I
Top that guy off. That was really smart.
so did we see fires along the way? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
On both sides of the road we saw fires.
Mm. But the roadway was still open. They
Yes.
hadn't closed it yet.
Yes.
Okay.
So we wound up going to a resort area
Mm-hmm.
that was on the St. John's River.
Mm-hmm. And how far away is that from here? You don't have to know miles, but like, was that an
About-
hour, 2 hours?
Probably an hour.
So an hour west, and now you're out of the danger zone.
Yes.
So you really didn't have to go too far. You didn't have to go like to
No.
another state. And then because you're in a mobile home, you have your housing right there.
But
You just pay the camping or resort area and you can park, and now you've got a sink and a bathroom and beds and everything. Yeah.
yes.
So that worked out really well for you.
Yes, it did. Especially since I had 3 large dogs and 3 cats
Right.
and a bird.
And a bird. So it was like Dr. Doolittle going, but it did work out. And
Yeah.
how old were you then? That's the question I want to get to on that evacuation. How old were you then?
Oh, let's see. That was 1998. I was 62.
So 62, a 62-year-old woman, and Doris is what, 67?
She's 9 years older, so she was
71. 71?
Yeah.
So, I mean, those 2 women evacuated in that way, and it worked out for them, and it should also spur you guys to be thinking like how you want your evacuations to go. But we have more. She has more experiences here. Let's talk about your accident a little bit, and then we'll go on to the hurricane.
Okay.
So I'll sum up the accident real quick, and then I'll ask you some questions. She was out riding a bike in the morning. She was not wearing a helmet. How far did you normally go in those days? 8 miles? 5 miles?
8.
8 miles every morning she rides this bike, and she's at a crosswalk, and there is a stop sign right there, and as she's going across the crosswalk, a man on his way to work in a pickup truck pulled out of that stop sign and hit her. Is that right?
Correct.
And so she fell off the bike and she got a head injury. You said you cracked your skull in 3 places.
Yeah.
Right. And so there was a whole big thing. Like, traffic stops, and I think her neighbors were driving by and noticed it was her, and so they contacted us. She got taken to a nearby hospital, who then transferred her in a helicopter to a bigger, trauma center kind of hospital. And so when you went through all that, and she had to be intubated and her heart stopped, and she was 6 days in the ICU, the doctors told us something about that, about your physical condition and your injury. Do you want to relate that?
No, you should, because I was,
Okay, so
I had amnesia at that point, so
she doesn't remember this.
Right.
The doctor said she was in such good shape, and that's the reason she was not more badly injured in that accident. And it took, how old were you when that happened?
68.
You were 68 when you were hit? Are you sure?
Yes.
Because I thought you were 70. Okay.
No.
So she got hit by this truck when she was 68 years old. And because she had been riding her bike every morning for 8 miles, she recovered pretty well physically. She only had the head injuries and a cracked clavicle, right?
Right.
And for someone her age, so many other things could have gone wrong. She could have had broken bones in her arm, her hip, and everything else. And then when she came back out of recovering, she had amnesia because of the intubating drugs. But when you came back out, you were completely recovered, weren't you?
Yeah.
Like your memory and your motor skills.
Yeah.
And she still has a driver's license at 82. And good vision, because she had her cataracts removed and they corrected her vision. So staying in shape makes a difference in these situations. You really want to work on your fitness. And you've been working out since at least your 50s. I remember you used to go on 4-mile walks, right? Mm-hmm. With your dogs and your husband. So physical fitness, guys, it's important. Okay, so there's one more situation that I wanted to talk to her about. We've gone through Typhoon, fire evacuation, physical accident, and then there was the hurricane. So this last hurricane, because I call her all the time. Whenever there's storms going on and stuff, we're like, are you okay? Are they telling you to leave? What's going on? And luckily, my younger brother now lives in the area, so he got to help. But you guys prepped some for this last hurricane, right? You wanted to talk about a couple of things that you did?
Yeah. One thing you want to do is make sure that you have access to water.
Right.
And because I have a pool, there's an automatic source right there.
Absolutely.
But water is hard to carry from one place to another. So I have a bathtub in my bedroom, and I fill that half full with water, and you can use that water to flush your toilet.
That's right.
And once your power is gone, that is crucial.
Absolutely. And it takes between 2 and 5 gallons to flush a toilet, but the way you do that is you just take the back of it off and you pour the water in there, and then you flush, and it'll flush it down.
Right.
So you stored up some water, and didn't they also bring you over like a little cooking hibachi kind of thing?
No.
No.
Towards the end of the hurricane, they did bring that over.
Okay.
But there were several days before that I had no access to cooking, and I did not have a barbecue. So what you needed to do was stock up on canned goods that you can eat right out of the can if necessary.
Right, and all canned goods have been cooked. They're cooked in the canning process, so you don't have to heat them up. You
Right.
can just open them and eat them. So
Right.
what kind of stuff did you eat?
One good thing is 3-bean salad.
Yeah?
That comes right out of the can and it's very edible that way.
Did you have any bread in the house then? Or fruit?
I was never big on
Bread. Okay.
Yeah, no, I didn't have. We used some rice cakes,
Okay.
which are a good substitute
Sure.
and not quite as calorie ridden as bread. In fact, one slice of bread could be up to as many as
Excuse me.
200 calories.
Right. So you were eating canned stuff. And I remember you talking to me about your refrigerator.
Yeah.
What
yeah.
what happened there?
You have to use some of the stuff in your refrigerator, or you must just leave it closed.
To keep the
Because the
coolness.
more you open it, the more you lose the refrigeration.
Refrigeration out of it.
Yeah, yeah,
So did you have ice packs at any time?
yeah,
And
yeah,
just keep the ice pack in the refrigerator?
yes,
And how'd that work? Did that work okay?
yeah.
Okay.
And use your little,
Water jugs?
no, those things you put in your car to keep your,
Drinks cool and stuff.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
insulated.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. And I called her during this hurricane. I said, Mom, I think you should leave. They're saying it's going to be kind of bad and it is going to hit your area. And she told me, nah, she didn't want to. I mean, she's in her 80s, so she was just like, I'm not going to be that concerned about it. The houses in the area have been constructed to be hurricane, not proof, but resistant, to resist the damage. And
Yeah.
how long did that storm last? Like power out and everything?
About 5 days.
About 5 days. So for 5 days, you were using the bathtub water and your refrigerator with ice in it and eating canned goods, and you were fine.
Yeah, and the fact that we have access to the outside, but screens.
Right, all the windows have screens.
Yeah, you can get fresh air at night, and that is pretty critical.
Because it gets pretty warm here during the day, but you have a pool if you needed to cool off.
Yeah.
But you're right, at night you want to be able to open your windows. Because some trailers, Pastor and I have noticed, some trailers nowadays, because they assume you're going to use air conditioning and they've got it on top, the windows are very small, really small, and there's no way to get a cross breeze. So
Yeah.
if the air conditioning unit on this trailer doesn't work and you're in a warm area, you are going to be sweltering.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
yeah, he's sliding glass doors are wonderful because you've just got so much access to the outside air, and you can, bring your blow-up mattresses out.
Right, and sleep out
Yeah.
by the pool or whatever, and it'd be a lot cooler. Absolutely. Yep. We have sliding glass doors in our house too for the same reason. They offer a lot of screen area, and when you don't have electricity and you want your house cooled, it's good to have cross breezes and things going on there. All right, Mom. Well, thanks for giving us your wisdom and your time. I really appreciate it. I hope you all out there get some wisdom and some ideas from what you've heard today, and that you take this thing, pretty seriously, and look to your own fitness too. Being healthy makes a much more
Keep moving.
better life. What do you always tell me? Do more so that you can do more.
Yes.
At 82. All right, you guys. Shalom. Say bye, Mom. Bye.
Bye.